warning for you guys. I do not have my gym bag on the tripod supporting it, so it might fall down. But we're trying something new. The base might be a little stabler. It's a bit easier for me to set up. It's a little hard taking the gym bag and throwing it down on the tripod. I'm not very mobile. Maybe a few more post-lifting stretching sessions will do me some good. But I'm really hoping that it doesn't fall down and this is a good fix. But anyway, you guys don't care and I don't care either because we're hitting chest. And when you're hitting chest, that's the only thing that matters. Today's workout is going to look like pretty much all my other chest workouts. A couple of presses, a couple of flies, and of course, we can't forget the biceps. While I say biceps, the triceps are looking, I'm happy with that, I'm not going to lie. Anyway, distracting myself over here. Going to start with the bench press, and then we'll probably go into, I'm feeling either an incline Smith, and there goes the tripod. Well, we gave it a shot, but maybe this isn't going to work. But we'll give it a few more chances before we just throw it in the trash. Anyway, back to what's at hand. Then we're going to do some biceps. Lots of curls. Lots and lots of curls. Going to go light. Going to do a lot of squeezing. And I think big thing is bodybuilding, right? We're not powerlifters. We're not trying to get the weight from point A to point B. What should you be feeling when you're lifting? I think the best way to explain this is bodybuilding is weighted stretching and squeezing. It sounds weird, but hear me out. If you squeeze your bicep, if you peak the flex, I want you to extend your arm, but I want you to keep the tension on the bicep. So you don't just squeeze and then you just drop your arm. Keep the tension the whole time as if you're squeezing all the way down. That's what you should be feeling throughout the entirety of the rep. For any muscle. Shit. That's just going to keep happening. I got a couple more turns and then we'll be Gucci. But for now, you're just going to be falling down a little bit. Man, the Walmart setup is not working right now, but what can you do? Anyway, yeah, so it's same thing for chest. Max squeeze, and then bring your arms down. That's how you maintain a contraction. A lot of people, have trouble, developing a mind-muscle connection in certain areas, lats, chest, shoulders, what have you, any muscle in the human body. Just do that. Do a peak contraction, hold the contraction, but then extend whatever it is the extensor is of the muscle you're trying to improve mind-muscle connection with. Was that scientific? Absolutely not. Does it have any basis in science? I have no idea. Is that what I do and what I think of? Yes. So that means it's going to work for you too. But yeah, stop throwing the weight around. It's fun every now and then to just do a set where you load as much weight as you can, and those sets have their place. I believe there is a true benefit to mentally pushing yourself as well as physically pushing yourself. But for the most part, you should be maintaining a contraction and tension on the desired muscle that you are hitting. If you're trying to grow your chest and you're not necessarily only using your chest, then what are you doing? Simple as that. What are you doing? If your homie, you wouldn't let your homie leave gains on the table. So why would you let yourself leave gains on the table? Sorry, I almost just got hit. Tripod's falling down. This is anyway. A bad camera day, I guess. Okay. We got a little roadblock on the way to the gym. Might be a little bit of a long car talk. Man, the pre-workout is going through my system, and this is not what I wanted to run into. But what can you do? It's just like when you show up to the gym and somebody's on your machine. You just kind of throw your hands up in the air. Well, I guess this is a change of plans. No worries. Still going to have a good workout. So yeah, bench press. I'm kind of getting an itch to do dumbbells, which starting prep soon, might switch over to dumbbells. Although I don't know how good of an idea that is because I haven't really been doing them lately. So my technique might be a little rusty. And I'm not trying to use rusty movements, especially at the beginning of prep. I'm going to go with what works, what has been working for me, and we're just going to rock with that. But anyway, I got nothing else to talk about, so I'll just see you at the first set of bench press. For today's chest and bicep workout, we're starting with the bench press, just like I had said. Hitting a rep PR for myself of 295 for 9. Honestly, I was quite surprised with how good this felt. The first rep just kind of flew up, and I was like, oh, geez, this is going to be a good set. And really goes to show, if you don't neglect your post-workout recovery or just taking care of your muscles that hurt, and taking them through ranges of motion every now and then to make them feel better pays off. You've heard me complain about my shoulder giving me issues before, and lately I've been doing a lot more mobility work, putting it through ranges of motion and just getting some fluid and blood in there, as well as just working on my form in general. I took a step back on bench press and just kind of humbled myself and didn't really let my ego take over to refine my pressing form. And now I'm starting to get stronger at bench again, which is awesome. Unfortunately, but not unfortunately, we're starting prep soon. So the bench strength is going to have to wait for a little bit, but that is a good sign moving forward that the shoulder is getting better before starting prep. Anyway, I felt like I had more gas in the tank for flat bench, and I was considering doing another set, but I decided to head over and do some incline Smith because I would like to accumulate some kind of pressing volume on my upper chest, as that is the area I think needs a little bit more development than my lower chest. So the first set definitely did a little bit more weight and then took the 25s off for these next two sets and really focused on holding the stretch at the bottom for a second or two before pressing up. And this is really brutal if you haven't ever done this. I would recommend giving it a shot, controlling the weight a little bit more on the way down and squeezing on the way up for a prolonged time under tension. Feels really good. The pump is really good as well. And I definitely think it pays to experiment with different kinds of techniques when you're lifting. I feel like lifters that only lift in one kind of way typically limit their growth. And I'm just trying to find new techniques that work or ways to switch up a workout to make it more difficult. And we're doing a drop set here. This isn't a completely different set. But yeah, really just getting a good burn. And these reps were burning bad, so really good lactic acid buildup there. Then we'll move on to some of these machine flies. I've been loving these a lot lately. I was going to do heavier weight. This is actually the second set, but I was warming up with about 35 pounds on each side, and I decided to do the whole slow and controlled thing on here too, instead of just brute forcing through the reps and holding the stretch at the bottom and just fighting the tension the entire time. Really good pump. I actually just ended up spamming sets of these, and I'll say it once, or I've said it once, I'll say it again. If something's feeling good, just spam it. I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong amount of sets of something you can do per workout, unless you're just doing too many sets in general. But if you're working within the confines of your total sets per workout, if one movement is feeling pretty good, I don't see any reason why you couldn't stick with that for more sets than you would otherwise typically do. At least I see no problem with it. So it's been working for me. So we'll just keep doing that, I guess. But I guess not really related to working out, but outside of the gym, things have been feeling really good. Meals have been going down well. Body composition has been holding pretty nice. Can't complain on that end. I'm just really looking forward to dropping some weight and getting shredded. It has been far too long, and I think it'll be exciting for you guys to see what my physique actually looks like, as well as myself. It's fun being big and strong, but at some point you do want to lean out and just kind of see what you've been working on for so long. It'll be fun to go into the gym and wear tank tops again and just be absolutely shredded, which I have not been for almost 3 years at this point. So that will be really fun. Anyway, doing some bicep curls. Nothing crazy with the weight. Just really focusing on the reps and the squeeze, just like with the chest. I think with arms, there's not really a massive benefit to going super, super heavy, and you're just running closer to risking an injury, which is not ideal because your arms do a lot more than just curl. They actually facilitate other big muscles like your chest and your back. So if you get an arm injury, that is going to put a massive hindrance on your gains, which would be massively unfortunate. Plus, because they're smaller, I think they might benefit a little bit more from more pump style training, although every now and then it is fun to throw a heavy set of arms in there. One thing I do notice when I curl is my wrist is a little bit bent back, so I kind of need to curl my wrist a little bit, I think, in order to put a little bit more tension on the bicep. But as you can see, we're not locking all the way out. This just keeps the tension on my bicep the entire time. If I go all the way down, it puts a little bit of pressure on my elbow and also takes the tension off of my bicep, which I don't really want. It doesn't feel too great to me. So we'll just, work in that active range of motion. I don't know. I've never really, I think there's definitely a benefit to working full range of motion, and I'm definitely going to advocate that you should. I just personally don't see the need to be like, oh, I have to work full range of motion every single movement, especially when it's so close to full range of motion. My question is really how much more gains am I going to get from, lowering the weight that extra 10% than if I just am doing what I'm doing. I don't know. Maybe somebody can point out to me the flaws in my idea there, but we'll just wait until somebody does that. But yeah, the biceps are looking pretty nice right now. I can't complain. The bicep was not hurting very much today. The bicep I'm using right now, the right one, that one's the one that gives me some trouble. And it gives me more trouble the heavier I go. So if that is telling me anything, it's telling me to stop going heavy, stop ego lifting, and start focusing on the squeeze. And I don't know if anybody else has this, and it's weird. If I do like a heavy set of biceps, and I'm like really, really digging deep, like letting it burn, once I get to like the 12th through 15th rep or whatever, I feel like I'm just going to throw up. And I'm sorry if that's too much information. And it's not like I've never felt like that training legs, but I've never felt like that mid-set with legs. I've had it where you rack the weight and you sit down and you're like, oh God, I'm going to just yak everywhere. But with biceps, I think with this set, it was like close to the last rep. I just felt like I was going to just vomit everywhere. I don't know. It's weird with biceps. It's such a weird pain, but you gotta love it. If I'm achieving that feeling during my arm workouts, I would call that a success. So, a problem you want to have. At least I think so. So, just doing a few more sets of biceps. As I'm sitting here doing the commentary, I realize just how repetitive it is watching somebody do bicep curls over and over again. So hopefully you guys are not getting as bored as I am. But, you know, you got to do the work. The curls are a lot more fun when you're actually doing them. Just trying to sit here and think of things to talk about. I guess when you're doing a straight bar curl, I guess this is a good thing to talk about really quick. I hate easy bar curls. I don't like my wrists kind of being at an angle. I like it to be straight so I can focus on squeezing the top, like really twisting my pinky out. Same thing with these curls. Now, the longer the set goes on for, my wrist turns less and less just due to fatigue, and I think I'm just trying to gas out everything I can from the muscle. But I've always preferred straight bar curls over the easy bar curls. They've always just felt better. I feel like it's a better position to get a good squeeze on the biceps. But yeah, finishing off with some seated dumbbell curls. These always feel awesome and really fun. They're also pretty hard. They keep the lower back swinging to a minimum, so you can't really cheat. I do like to lean into the curl a little bit. It feels a little bit better and helps me get a better contraction. Anyway, I'm just going to finish off these reps here, and I'll see you in the posing room. Chest and biceps are officially torched. I don't think I've done more than 6 sets on biceps, and it's been a minute. I didn't record all of them just because I don't want it to get repetitive, but the work was done. The pump is real, dude. They're burning. I was watching some of the footage though, and my wrist was kind of back like this. It needs to be more like that when I'm curling. So I'm gonna fix that next time I hit biceps. Maybe it'll alleviate some of the bicep pain that's been lingering on. Chest portion of the lift was amazing. We pushed some good weight for sure. And I have a pump that's just waiting to bust out of this shirt. I actually have 2 shirts on. I have a beater on underneath this to try to contain the pump, but I can feel it starting to rip a little bit, so we'll let it breathe. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. Uh-oh. The shirt came off kind of easy, so that's not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. Hopefully I'm not getting smaller yet. Because we will get smaller as we start dipping into prep, but we haven't gotten there yet, so. All right. So I can already tell the chest pump is not what it was, but it's still lingering a little bit. Biceps though, biceps are yacked, that's for sure. And the side chest, I'll even hit a back double for you guys. Try to get the peaks in there for you. Sheesh. You really can't get more bro than chest and biceps. And honestly, it feels so good. I'm telling you. So if you hit chest and you hit triceps after, your triceps are already fatigued, so you can't push them as hard. So if you do chest and bis, you can go 100% on chest, 100% on bis. And then if you come in the next day, you can hit back, and then you can hit triceps. I think it's a flawless, maybe not flawless, but I like it. It feels good for me. Maybe I'll go back to chest and tris, back and bis, but for now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You already know what I'm gonna do at this point. Abs, cardio, cereal, and I'll see you in the car. All right. workout completed. Definitely a solid one. And the hoodie is thoroughly soaked. Come on. Just gotta wait for someone. Hoodie is thoroughly soaked from cardio, and I'm sure some of you are wondering. Actually, none of you guys do cardio, I bet. Which you should. Not enough people do their cardio. But you're probably wondering what my cardio routine is, because sometimes in the posing section, I'll say, all right, I'm going to go do cardio, or sometimes I don't go do cardio. So I'm not skipping. The way that my routine is set up right now is I have 3 cardio sessions in the morning, and I have 2 in the evening. And the idea behind that is in the morning, it's good to get it out of the way fasted. I don't necessarily believe that you're going to burn more fat if you do it fasted. I just think it's a good way to start the day. It also conveniently works out for me with my schedule. And then the PM cardio is there so that I'm not necessarily just every single morning doing cardio. I have enough time to, one day I'll do it in the morning, and then if I do it the next day in the evening, I give my heart time to recover for the next cardio session. Now, the way I have it split up, I don't know if that made sense. The way I have it set up right now is if it's a leg day, I'll do my cardio in the morning, because cardio in the morning doesn't really affect my performance for strength later in the evening. I typically train about 10 to 12 hours after I get my cardio done in the morning. That didn't sound right. I don't know. Something like that. And then the next morning after legs, my legs are thrashed. There's no way I'm getting a good cardio session in. So I won't do cardio in the morning. I'll go do my training session, and then I'll hit my cardio right after. And that kind of helps speed up recovery. And then, yeah, sometimes, like I just did cardio tonight, probably going to do cardio in the morning. I'm not necessarily going to be over fatigued. Once I get into prep, though, you're just going to have days where you have cardio in the morning, cardio at night, and you're just going to have to embrace the suck and just do the cardio anyway. There's really no way around it at some point. But you should just be doing cardio regardless, whether or not you're training to compete or, if you're just trying to be fit and healthy, you should have cardio in your routine at all times, in a cut, in a bulk, and here's why. So in a cut, it's just going to help keep your metabolism firing. It's going to help you burn a little bit more calories. It's also going to keep your heart healthy, and that way you also get to eat a little bit more food. Same thing with the bulk. If you're doing cardio, everybody's like, oh, well, I don't want to, burn this. I'm trying to get big. Okay, so you're trying to eat as much food as you can on a bulk, right? Well, if you do cardio, you're going to be hungry. Let's say you burn 300 calories on cardio. You're going to be hungry for more than 300 calories if you do your cardio. More likely than not, you're probably going to need a calorie surplus of more than 300 calories to grow anyway. So doing your cardio is going to help you increase your hunger, and therefore you'll be able to get more food in. Especially for my skinny bros out there, you guys definitely shouldn't be skipping cardio, maybe to a certain degree. If you're doing cardio and the weight is falling off, maybe try taking out a cardio session or two and see if the weight sticks. If not, you're just going to have to slam food regardless. And I think that's a lot of, hard gainers. I hate using that term, but we'll just use it for simplicity's sake right now. You just have to face reality, man, and you have to stop lying to everybody and yourself that you're eating 5,000 calories a day, because you're not. Because if you were, you'd be growing. And most likely, if you were 160 pounds and you were eating 5,000 calories a day, you would be fat before you were actually getting huge. So track your calories every single day for a couple weeks, track your weight, and just go from there. There's no point in telling other lifters, telling your bros that you're doing something that you're not doing, because you tell somebody you're doing something for long enough, and in the lifting world the results are going to come if you do the work. So 3 months later, 6 months later, if you're like, bro, I was eating 5,000 calories a day and the scale didn't move at all, yeah, I don't believe you. Like, straight up, like, that's not happening. So, and that actually segues me into another thing that I wanted to talk about, which is choosing some of the right friends, man. I know a lot of people that have been held back from getting into the gym because, their friends are like, oh, well, you're not hanging out with us anymore. You changed. You changed. Yeah, I changed. I'm changing for the better. I'm trying to improve myself. I'm trying to build better habits. I want to be jacked. I want to be strong. I want to be healthy, whatever. If your friends don't like the positive changes you're trying to make in your life, they don't have to do it with you. But if they're trying to get you to stop doing like what you want to do, those aren't your friends. And it's better if you just go along and do whatever you wanted to do anyway, because those people aren't going to be there for you later down the road. More likely than not, they're just going to try to use you for something to make themselves feel better. And they're trying to find somebody that's going to do whatever garbage activities they want to do that they don't feel right about, but if they do it with somebody else, they might feel good about it. So, the path to success is often a lonely one, but there will be people you meet along the way that will push you and that will be better. And, you should be hanging out with people that are honest and real with you, that are going to tell you like, hey, bro, your form is kind of whack. Or, hey, dude, I don't think you're actually eating 5,000 calories a day, because if you were, you would be growing. Now, I'm not saying go out to your friends and say, hey, you fat fuck, you need to lose some weight. If somebody comes and asks you, if your buddy asks you, and you got to know them, like, you should know them, unless they're like straight up about to put that last Twinkie in their mouth and then just go into cardiac arrest and die, you should say something then. But if you don't know them, leave them be, right? But if somebody asks you a question, you should just be straight up honest with them. And everybody these days is like, oh, well, I don't want to upset that person. You know what? Dude, I'm not afraid to upset you. If you're upset, that's on you. I'm going to tell you the truth, because that's on me. I'm not going to lie about something to make you feel better, but that's going to potentially harm you. So I can take being yelled at by someone. And if you feel like you can't tell your homies or your friends or whatever, like, what you really think, and I'm not talking about being rude, I'm just talking about like pointing out things that they could be doing better or wrong, or if they ask you, just give them legitimate advice, because you want your word to be valuable. And same thing goes for people you're hanging out with. If you're hanging out with somebody and you're asking their opinion and you see that they're constantly just telling you what you want to hear and they are never saying anything that you can improve on, I don't know, man. It's never gone over well in my book. But anyway, it's a little side ramble there. The workout, though, that was solid, man. I really like the chest and the bicep workouts. It's always funny when, you chat with someone and they're like, what are you hitting today? And chest and biceps. I'm like, chest and biceps? What? You can do that? Yeah, I can do whatever I want. I can hit whatever muscles I want in my workout. There's no book that says I can't hit biceps and quads in the same workout. All that matters is that the muscle is going to be recovered and that I go as hard as I can. And then by the next time I hit it, I train it again. And, sometimes when you train quads, your hamstrings might be too fatigued. But ideally, you'd like to hit a muscle like 2 times a week, 1.5 times a week, whatever. And you're just going to have to squeeze it in wherever you can. But a quad workout with hamstrings, that's a big workout, and that's a taxing workout. So maybe you don't necessarily want to do both of those at the same time. I don't like doing them at the same time all the time. I did it recently, and in 4 weeks, it was fried. So I had to switch it up. And I did quads and shoulders for a long time, and that was really good. Burned out my quads. I still had energy left. Just finished off with shoulders. Shoulders isn't anything crazy. Got a good lift. But anyway, don't got to reinvent the wheel. if somebody points out what you're doing is kind of weird, just be like, yeah, kind of weird, but works for me. So what are you going to do, right? If it's working for you, somebody was like, oh, you know, if somebody tells you a better way to do something, give it a shot, see if it works. And if it doesn't, cool. If it does, great. Anyway, I could go on about this kind of stuff for forever, essentially. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you when I see it.